What's up, people? In the 7th round, the last two positions of the tournament face it between each other, Vidit and Theodorou. So let's see who leave the hole and try to escape from the last position. Okay, Vidit open with knight f3, d5, d4, e6, g3, knight f3, knight f6, bishop g2. Vidit is playing a Catalan, and here Theodorou play knight c6. I don't like this move. All the life was considered that the knight is bad place on c6 in the queen's gambit, or in Catalans in general, with a pawn on d4. And knight is bad place on c6. Like 200 or 300 years ago, the people learned that. And okay, but now with the machine, the top players try to create new lines and try to investigate new lines and make some preps. But I don't like to make preparation just making stupid moves. I'm fan of make new preps and try to play sidelines, but not with this type of stupid moves. And Vidit refute that very well. So castle, bishop d6, or at least if you prepare this stupid move, you should have this very well prepared and have some ideas of try to break with e5 or something like that. But Theodorou doesn't show anything. Short castle by Vidit, bishop d6, bishop d5. The idea of this move is more or less clear. Just play knight d2 and e4 later. Long castle, sorry, short castle, and you were avoiding some e5 thanks to this pin, because one day if black plays e5, we can trade on f6 and take on d5. Short castle, c3 by Vidit, h6, and now of course Vidit take on f6 and knight d2 with the idea of e4. And after e5, who is the typical move with black, if you play knight c6, is the only move to try to make a knight f6 sense. Now e4 by Vidit. A great move, and here white is just better. He have a perfect development with this knight attacking d5, attacking d5, e5. This knight is jumping here, so perfect position for white. For example, if black takes here, we recapture with the knight with attacking the queen. If he takes here, we can recapture here, and white position is very pleasant. So after the takes e4, knight e4. Here, Theodorou doesn't leave to the correct square. Queen e7 or queen d8 was stronger. So queen g6 by Theodorou, knight h4, queen g4, and now he decides to enter in the endgame because he's going to recapture the bishop pair after f4, good move, taking back the bishop pair, and the areas in an endgame with the pawn structure more or less symmetrical, just with white more space thanks to the f4 pawn. By the way, in the pawn structure they both have 3 pawns in the king side and 3 in the queen side, 2 rooks, a knight, and a light square bishop. So the material after bishop takes. Okay, the pawn structure is not completely equal because black have a worse pawn structure. So here white is close to be winning because he have more development. He have the rook developed, this bishop in this open diagonal. This knight is covering this square. And black have no development. So here white is better. A part of the more development, white have a better pawn structure. This knight is a stupid piece, this bishop is very strong. So here white is just close to be winning. Vidit play a little bit strange move, g3, just waiting what black is going to do. I prefer more rook e1. I feel that this is more logical. Rook d5 is another possibility, or try to play against this bishop. Just black have now a horrible pawn structure. So this is an interesting idea, try to create many weaknesses in black side and try to play against this bishop and all these pawns. By the way, b3 is normal. Rook e8, who is not good because now after king f2 and rook e1, white here is completely winning. Knight e7, plus black only active piece is the rook, so he tries to keep the rook over the board. Knight e7, and now great move, f5. Just blockading the bishop and not allowing the knight to gain to g6 or to f5. a5 by Theodorou, trying to activate the rook maybe via a6 or trying to play e4, but now g4 by Vidit, good move defending f5. a4 before, just keeping the a5 close, a3. Now, okay, Vidit play bishop e4, who is still winning. But I prefer knight f3. I feel that is more logical. You have a knight on h4 who is not making nothing, so you bring the knight to the game with knight f3. I feel that this is the most logical move. c5 and just bishop upon takes, for example. Instead of that, Bidit played bishop b4, allowing c5. So, but the problem is that this knight is still being bad place on h4, b5, rook a5, rook b1 by Bidit, bishop d7, c4, knight c8, just trying to improve the knight. The problem of black is that the bishop is very bad. Rook bd1, rook e7. Here, Bidit play bishop c2, which is still winning, but allows black to sacrifice the bishop with some counterplay. Here, knight g2, I think that is the most simple way to win with white, just improving the worst piece, just defending c4. But okay, he tries to defend with bishop c2 and bishop b3, because now black cannot play rook a4. That's the idea of place the bishop on b3. But okay, here Theodorou find a good reserve, sacrificing the piece. This was his best chance in the game. But Bidit defend very accurate this sacrifice. Playing rook b1 here, great move, because okay, black is entering on b2, so great move, rook b1, trade, and okay, this game is not completely easy because black have 2 pawns and this pawn is on a3 is very annoying. The c4 pawn could be annoying too. This knight is so far for the moment, so this is not an easy endgame. But Bidit defended so well. Knight f3 here, b5 by Theodorou. It's not bad. King e7 is another way to trying to create counterplay with the pawns. Knight d4, king d6, bishop e4. For example, knight d4 and knight c2. Important move, because if king d2 now b6 and black is fine, so knight c2, and okay, this is winning for white. But Theodorou tried b5, king d2 before knight d4, king e7, knight b5, king d7, bishop b4, and now very accurate defense by white. Now bishop b1, pawn takes, and now Bidit give back the bishop to enter in a winning knight endgame. Let's see that black give the 3 pawns for this bishop, or white give the bishop for the 3 pawns to enter in a winning knight endgame. It's not only because the extra pawn, but these weaknesses in the king side made the white position completely winning. This extra pawn and more weaknesses in the king side. So here Theodorou resign because knight e4 and knight f6 is coming, so great win by Bidit, who leaves the last position of the tournament finally. After a bad tournament, finally he won a game, and Theodorou falls to the last position of the standing. So let's see how continue the tournament. This was the only decisive game in the 7th round. So Bokidov and Madaminov still being on the top. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Bye bye.